Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of The Myth of Logos. Story 2: The Weight of the Purse. Old Hansel had crossed the salt road 41 times and buried 3 partners who had crossed it fewer. His apprentice Myra had asked him once, early on, when she still thought the desert dealt in courage, how he'd survived so many crossings when others hadn't. Ansel had only said, "Sit down, I'll show you with pebbles." Now, on her 4th season with him, she finally understood he'd been answering that question the entire time. They were camped outside Kesh, and Ansel was doing what he always did before a big buy, counting coin, not for the total, but for the shape of it. He had 1,100 dinar, enough if he wanted to buy the entire stock of a spice broker who claimed, convincingly, with samples and a nervous eagerness, that a rare saffron shipment had been misrouted to him and could be had at a third of its worth. Myra had done the arithmetic already. If he's telling the truth, we triple our money. If he's a cheat, we lose everything we pay him. You said yourself you believe him. 70%, you said. I do believe him. 70 in 100. Then the expectation favors us. Buy all of it. Ansel smiled the way he did when she'd found the trap without knowing she'd found it. Tell me, Myra, if I hand you a coin now and offer to flip it for double or nothing, forever, every day for the rest of your life, and each flip favors you 60 to 40, how much of your purse do you wager each time? All of it. Every time the odds favor me, I bet everything. That's what expectation means. Do that, Ansel said, and you will be a beggar by the 7th flip. Guaranteed. Not likely. Guaranteed. She frowned. That's not possible. The odds favor me every single time. The odds favor you. Your purse does not survive a single loss, and across enough flips, a loss always comes. You are not one trader making one bet. You are the same trader making the next bet, and the one after, with whatever is left of you. He picked up a pebble, then another, then swept both of the log they sat on. 0, multiplied by anything that comes after it, is still 0. It doesn't matter how good the next 100 odds are. So I bet nothing. You bet something. There is an amount, not all, not none, that lets you survive the losses and still grow faster than any other amount across every crossing you will ever make. It is not the size of the prize that tells you the number. It is not even the odds alone. It is the two together, weighed against how much of yourself you're willing to put on a single throw of the dice, knowing you must throw again tomorrow. He drew a fraction in the dust with his knife. The edge you hold against the house, divided by what you stand to win, not more, not less. That broker in Kesh, he said, I believe him 70 in 100. If he's honest, I triple my coin. If he's lying, I lose it all. That is not a reason to spend 1,100 dinar. It is a reason to spend perhaps 550 and to still have a purse heavy enough to cross this road again next season, whatever happens in Kesh. Myra sat with that for a long moment. You've never been talking about caravans, have you? Not really. I've been talking about the only thing that ever mattered on this road, Ansel said. Now what? You win. What you have left to bet with tomorrow. What the parable is describing. This is the Kelly Criterion, a result from probability theory first derived by John Kelly Jr. in 1956 while working at Bell Labs, not coincidentally in the same intellectual orbit as Claude Shannon's information theory, which is where the formula's deepest justification actually lives. The setup. You face a repeated bet with a positive edge, probability P of winning, probability Q equals 1 minus P of losing, and odds B, you win B times your stake, or lose the stake. The classical instinct, maximize expected value, says bet everything whenever the expectation is positive, since E, wealth, is maximized by maximal stakes. Ansel's flip example is the standard illustration of why this instinct is catastrophic. A sequence of fair or favorable bets, each individually positive in expectation, drives your wealth to zero with probability 1 if you stake it all each time. Because a single zero anywhere in a multiplicative sequence is absorbing, you cannot recover from ruin, no matter how good the bets that would have followed. The resolution. The error is optimizing the wrong quantity. Wealth compounds multiplicatively across bets, not additively. So the right object to maximize isn't the arithmetic expectation of wealth after one round. It's the long-run exponential growth rate of wealth across many rounds. That means maximizing the expected value of the logarithm of wealth, not wealth itself. This is precisely the arithmetic versus geometric mean distinction from ergodicity. A process can have a positive arithmetic expectation at every step while having a negative time average growth rate. If the downside is severe enough relative to the upside, log utility is what correctly accounts for this because the log of a product is a sum, converting a multiplicative process back into something you can average in the ordinary sense. The formula. Maximizing E, log wealth, over the fraction F of the purse staked per round yields F equals BP minus Q over B. The edge divided by the odds. Exactly what Ansel draws in the dust. If BP minus Q is less than or equal to 0, there's no edge and F equals 0. Don't bet. If there's an edge, F gives the unique fraction that maximizes long-run compound growth. Bet more than F, and growth rate actually decreases even though single-round expectation increases. You're taking on ruined risk that outweighs the extra return. Bet less, and you grow more slowly than you could, but safely. Why Shannon's name belongs here. Kelly's original paper wasn't about gambling at all. It was about the maximum rate at which information could be transmitted over a noisy channel and used profitably by a gambler with private, imperfect knowledge of a race's outcome. The growth optimal fraction turns out to be mathematically identical to the channel capacity problem. Both ask, how much can you safely act on partial uncertain information without your errors compounding into catastrophe? Ansel's broker, with his 70% believable story, is a noisy channel. The caravan's survival across 41 crossings is what a well-calibrated decoder looks like in a human life. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of The Myth of Logos. See you next time.